What's up, Slick Review fans? We're coming at you with another video. Today we're going to take a look at yet another dash cam. This one is only going to run you 30 bucks. It is available on Amazon Prime from the seller SENWOW. So the link is down in the description for you as always. So we're going to get right to it. So there's really not much to show you on the box here. There's a couple tech descriptions right there. So we've got a wide angle lens, shoots in full 1080 HD. It has an auto circulating record, which basically means it overwrites old files for you. And then we have an LCD display. So we're going to get right to it here. Let's see what we've got. So right away here is the main unit itself, so we'll set that right off to the side. Now what else do we have in the box here? So we have a suction cup mount, a couple cables for power, and then in here more we've got another cable for transferring to your computer if you don't want to take the SD card out. A couple little mounts to help route the cable if you would like to use them, so that's a nice touch. We have a USB flash drive and some various propaganda here. Okay, so we'll get everything taken out of the packaging here so we can take a look. So again, there's the camera itself. We've got our suction cup mount for mounting to the windshield, and then again, power adapter for in the car as well. So first thing we'll do, guys, is we'll take a look at the main unit before we get it hooked up in the car and go for a ride. So looking at the main unit here, now remember this is only a $30 dash cam, and taking a look at it, because we've seen a couple of these so far, it actually looks like a $30 dash cam. In fact, it probably could go for a little bit more. Now it is very light feeling, and this is just a nice plastic exterior here. Now on the front we do have some lights for nighttime assist, a speaker, microphone. Coming around the side, multiple buttons for interacting with the interface. We've got menu up and down in mode. On the other side we've got power and recording as well. Now this does ship with an 8 gig micro SD card, so that's nice as well that they give you that. I mean, that's worth, you know, 10 bucks by itself anyway. So you do get that there as well. Up top, here's our mini USB power input, a hard reset, an HDMI out, and an AV out. And that's really all there is to it. Couple things to point out before we go for a ride. Now this is a 2.7 inch HD display here on the back, which is good for interacting with the menu. You can do some on-demand playback if you like. Say you get pulled over or something and someone's accusing you of running a red light or something and you know you didn't. You know, maybe you need to play it back, or you were in an accident and you need to show whoever shows up to the scene what happened. That's a good reason to want that. Now this lens on the front is a 120 degree high definition ultra wide angle lens. Now that's very good for a dash cam because you can see everything in front of you. It has a built-in G sensor, and what that does is it automatically protects the video from being deleted. If the camera detects that there's a sudden slowdown, it'll interpret that as an accident and tag that file to not be deleted. As I said earlier, this does have loop video recording, which basically means when the memory card is full, the camera will find the oldest file and overwrite that. So if you ever need a file, of course just pop the memory card out and go copy it to a computer or something like that. But if you don't need anything that was recorded within the last day or so, you just leave it alone, and the camera will record over the oldest file. This also has a parking guard function, so you want to leave the camera plugged in all the time, and that will help it turn itself on and off automatically. Again, these are designed for you to just leave them and forget about them. Now, if you leave it plugged in and you have the parking guard mode enabled, what it is supposed to do is if the camera detects a sudden vibration or a sudden shake, for instance, your car was hit, you know, someone was parking next to you and scraped against your car. If the camera detects that, it'll turn on for a few seconds and record whatever's going on. So that's everything we can talk about without powering it up, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it mounted in the car and we're going to go for a ride. See you then.
Alright guys, so we're in the car, I've got the camera hooked up, and like usual with our dash cam videos, what we're going to do here is just flip through the different resolution settings that this offers so that you can see the kind of video that you're going to get. Now I do apologize, it started raining here in the past couple minutes, so we're just going to make the best of it. So right now what we're set on is the full 1080p option, and this shoots at 30 frames a second. Alright guys, so now what we're looking at is 1440 by 1080. So still HD, just not quite as good as full HD. And if you don't... Alright guys, and here's our 720 option. This is most commonly referred to as standard definition. So still very good. There's nothing wrong with this option. You're going to give up a little bit of detail, but again, as we go down in the resolution sizes, you're going to have a smaller video file. Alright guys, and here's our 848 by 480. We have one other 480 option to choose from after this. So again, lower resolution, same story as before. You're going to give up some detail, but the amount of space that it takes up on your memory card is not going to be as much. Alright guys, and here's 640 by 480, so a little bit less than the one we just looked at. Alright guys, and finally here's our 320 by 240 option. Now again, this is the lowest that this offers, and I'm not even sure how much detail this camera is going to be able to pick up in this setting, but we'll see how it goes. So again, this is the lowest that it offers.
So as we saw in the last segment, guys, this camera does perform very well for its class. Remember that this is only a $30 dash cam, which is about as low as they go. This is your entry-level unit, and it does perform very well for that price point. Again, I would recommend using the 1080 option. The microphone worked great. Everything works flawlessly. And in that last segment, you didn't notice, but some of those segments had the break in the middle, because remember that this camera only records in 3-minute segments. I've looked at some dash cams to where the end of that 3-minute segment, there's a bit of a pause while the camera processes, saves the file, and starts going again. This one did it seamlessly without missing a beat, which doesn't always happen with these entry-level dash cams. So that was very good to see as well. The only drawbacks I can think of for this dash cam, the only negatives that I can think of, is that the menu is not the most intuitive, and it does take a little bit of playing around with it to get the hang of what buttons do what. Now that's kind of a minor gripe. It doesn't take long to figure out, but it's not the most straightforward. The other thing that I didn't really care for, but again most people won't run into this, is that in that 240 option the date stamp took up a good portion of the screen real estate. Now most people aren't going to be shooting in that resolution, so really not a big deal at all. The microphone worked adequately, and again the full 1080 option worked great for most people's purposes. Now again, this does have some features that we normally see on higher end dash cams, with the G sensor and the parking guard function. That again, what that does is, if you have that enabled, if your car has a sudden jolt while it's parked and the power's off, such as someone swings wide into a parking space and hits your car, the camera will turn on and record that event. So we do have quite a few nice options to see on this dash cam, and again for only $30, this is the one that most people want to pick up. Now if you drive professionally, if you're an Uber or a Lyft driver or something like that, I would personally suggest spending the money for a little bit of a higher end camera that shoots a little bit better video, things like that, just because you're on the road more. But for most people who are just going around town, running their errands, driving to work, things like that, I really recommend to everyone to have a dash cam, because again, I work in insurance, and this may come as a shock to you, but not everyone tells the truth when an accident happens. And unless you can prove what happened, you may be stuck holding the bill. So please do yourself a favor, spend $30 to have your own independent witness. So that's all I've got for you this time, guys. This is a win, especially for $30. I've got no complaints that would make it not worth that price. If you guys have any comments or questions, please do leave them down below. I try to answer every single one. Find me on social media so you can stay in touch, but most importantly, guys, hit that subscribe button so you do not miss any future videos. That's all I've got for you this time, guys. Slicker Views, out.